Unfortunately, it's going to be a really tough firefight moving into the afternoon hours and into the evening through overnight and into tomorrow afternoon. We do have red flag conditions that were supposed to lift yesterday, but due to the fact that winds were expected to surge today, the red flag warnings have now been extended through tomorrow night. And unfortunately, for those same very vulnerable wind-prone areas near the Castaic Lake, near the Hughes Fire, now at 500 acres. And showing you the wind futurecast. Right now, conditions, see the highlighted contours. Those are locations that are being impacted with winds, a range of at least velocities, 15 to 20 plus miles an hour. And we are seeing that unfold. And it's those stronger gusts that we continue to be concerned with, where they could push, again, later today, right around 50 to 60 plus miles an hour. Still very strong offshore conditions, but there is a little hint of good news. We're not anticipating ferocious hurricane wind speeds of 80, 90 to 100 miles an hour. That doesn't appear to be part of the forecast. We're going to keep it a range of 50s and 60s, but as we have addressed earlier, wind speeds right around below 40 plus miles or below 40 miles an hour. That is still favorable for those fixed wing aircrafts to continue to fly over that fire zone. I'm going to go ahead and animate this out, pushing to just a couple hours from now. We're still dealing with the strong winds in that area, and that continues to be a problem as those prevailing winds coming out of the northeast pushing south-southwest. All that dark billowing smoke is now, as we're seeing, pushing into areas across the Santa Susana Mountains, into Simi Valley, and it is impacting not just areas near the Hughes Fire in Santa Clarita, but the 5 freeway, and that is a heavily traveled roadway. So if you've got travel plans, or if you plan on commuting through the area, you may want to rearrange those plans as some roads are already beginning to close. Pushing into overnight, still very strong, and into tomorrow morning, it is going to be pretty difficult moving ahead. We are dealing with not just the strong winds, but very dry conditions. Relative humidity down to single digits, and it's possible even a range of 2 to 3%, the driest we've seen in the area. And we've had bouts of Santa Ana winds. We've also been experiencing now a total of 5 particularly dangerous situations where we have extreme fire weather, and unfortunately, we're not out of the woods. Eventually, we pushed into Friday. Finally, the winds do relax. We'll get a better handle on the humidity and those winds backing off. And then we also introduce some wet weather. Rain is in the forecast, and that's good news if it comes into fruition. We're looking at a range in terms of accumulation about a quarter inch or under in most areas, and there's a possibility of half an inch to even an inch for some of our foothill communities and our mountain areas. But embedded in this beneficial rain, which begins Saturday through Monday, is the possibility of pop-up thunderstorms. And we've discussed anywhere a thunderstorm is to occur, it could create heavy downpours. And if it rolls over an area through the burn scars near the Palisades Fire or the Eaton Fire, that creates a whole new set of issues. We may be talking about flood threats, mud and debris flows. So hence we do have our city officials and our city leaders that are taking, heeding that warning and bringing in sandbags and K-rails into place, again, in those fire zones. But right now, we are dealing with the latest fire. If you're just now joining us, this is the Hughes Fire burning near the Castaic Lake area. As Jen and Sandra pointed out, it started very small and then rushed to 500 acres. Now we're dealing with over 3,400 acres. And we're talking about the traffic conditions. I was just addressing the 5 freeway, and you're seeing officials helping to navigate that traffic. The off-ramps are being utilized, but how slow it is in that area, but it's orderly. So they're trying their best to get people off the freeway safely, and who knows the impacts as this fire goes on. But what we are aware of, unfortunately, is these red flag conditions. We have the 3 main components in place that continues to drive this fire. We talk about the winds. We have that, unfortunately, with wind gusts, as I pointed out, even 40, 50 to 60 miles an hour eventually. But right now, Winds are favorable to have the aerial assets, all the crews on the boots on the ground in place to really attack this fire. But we're also dealing with a lot of dry vegetation, so fresh fuel for this fire to rapidly spread and grow. And you combine it with the winds, it continues to be a problem. It's a terrain-driven fire as well.